Hello, everyone. Good morning. I am Dario Lujuwan. You're welcome to Newspaper Review on Asterisk TV. This morning, I'll be reading the social media trends for Tuesday, 10th November 2020. Dangote. Nigerians have reacted over the approval given to the Dangote Group by the federal government to export cement to West African countries through Nigeria's land borders. They said it was unfair to allow Dangote export cement through land borders while disallowing Lafarge and BUA companies from doing so. They urged the federal government to correct the anomaly. If not, the move would be seen as discriminatory. Some, however, see the exemption of Dangote cement as a softening of the government's position on the border closure that started in August last year and believe it could open the way for other businesses to fully resume exports across the country's land borders. Sam Adeyemi. The social media space was agog with reaction after an activist, Kenechukwu Okeke, filed a criminal complaint before a chief magistrate's court in Abuja against 50% for their alleged roles in the NSAS protest that took place last month. According to the report, Okeke had alleged that during the riots, his properties were destroyed, and the defendants who promoted the NSAS protest must be brought to justice. Those listed as defendants include the senior pastor, Daystar Christian Center, Pastor Sam Adeyemi, musician Damini Ojulu, aka Burna Boy, David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, Falani, popularly known as Fowls, and social media comedians Debo Adebayo, aka Mr. Macaroni, and Miriam Akpa Okagi, aka Taoma. Other musicians sued include Peter and Paul Okoye, Innocent Idibia, aka Two-Face, Bankole Wellington, popularly known as Banky W, Tiwa Savage, Michael Ajire, aka Don Jazzy, and Yemi Alade. Apart from musicians, others listed as defendants include activist Aisha Yusufu, ex-Super Eagles legend Kanu Uwankwo, a former Director General, Bureau for Public Sector Reform, Dr. Joe Abba, journalists Kiki Modi, and actors Yul Edochie and Uche Jombo. Social media influencers Feyikemi Abudu, Olorunrinu Oduala, Pamilerin Adegoke, Japhet Omogua Ayo, Shogunro, and Deji Adeyoju were also included in the suit. The development attracted series of reactions on social media as many slammed petitioner and described him as a cloud chaser. Decrying the level of destruction eroded by the NSAS protests across the country, some, however, maintained that the protest was unnecessarily prolonged, which was why it was hijacked by hoodlums to unleash mayhem on innocent citizens. Fake news. The danger of fake news in the society was again brought to the fore after the false publication of Rahama Sadau's arrest by police circulated all over social media. Our family members confirmed that Sadau is fine and debunked reports of our arrest by the police. Even those who opposed the social media bill joined other Nigerians to frown at the development, urging people to be careful with the way they circulate unverified news. Some said that the social media bill, although not the best option, would help sustain peace between Islam and Christianity and check the maniac of fake news being spread by some persons to incite hatred. between the northern and southern part of Nigeria, Oyo State. Oyo was on the trend following the inauguration of the state judicial panel of inquiry into police brutality, violation of rights of citizens, and unlawful killings. The panel is made up of 11 members led by Justice Bola Joko Adeniji, retired, as chairman. Members of the panel are drawn from the legal community, the National Human Rights Commission, the Department of Public Prosecution, DPP, the National Youth Council of Nigeria, youth representatives of NSAS, protesters, and the community. Those who reacted on social media applauded Governor Seyi Makinde, adding that one of the most admirable things about the state was the number of young people in top leadership positions. They said the state is driven by young minds with a leader who understands the people, and described the governor's loyalty as top-notch. They also chipped in a word of commendation over opposition to the social media bill by the Oyo State House of Assembly. Yeah, that's all that went through social media news trend yesterday. So I'll be going into the news headlines from major newspapers in Nigeria. But before then, let's go on a quick break.
Do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on the notification button to get notified on our videos. Thank you.
Welcome back. And from the news headlines from major newspapers in Nigeria, I'll begin with Vanguard. NSAS, calm down. Reverend Sam Adeyemi, Davido, Two-Face, Kanu, 46 others dragged to court. Police DSS arresting protesters. Delta panel member cries out. How police deceived me to arrest my brother. Police moved my client to Abuja, denied bail, says lawyer. Police deny arresting protesters. You can get that. You can get the full story from page 5 in Vanguard. Zulum laud UAE for convicting Boko Haram censors. You can get that on page 14. NSAS, they hit my scrotum severely, detained me for 81 days, says victim. You can get the full story on page 13. Buhari approves registration of new APC members. You can get the full story on page 7. Strange ailment claims 17 lives in Benue and others hospitalized. Well, that's so sad. Well, you can get the full story on page 4. Jumbo pension. Jakonde, Tinubu, Fashola, and others to lose pay as Sanwo-Olu moves to repeal law. You can get the full story on page 10. 428 agencies won't be able to pay salary end of November, says federal government. You can get the full story on page 7. And that's all I'll be taking from Vanguard. Right now, I'll be moving to Nigerian Tribune. Lagos to stop pensions for ex-governors and deputies. Sanwo-Olu to set executive bill for repeal of public office older pension law. Presents 1.1 155 trillion naira budget proposed for 2021. You can get the full story on page 2. Sam Adeyemi, Aisha, Yusuf, Davido, Kano, Two-Face, and 45 others charged to court over EndSARS. You can get the full story on page 8. Come to think of it, Sam Adeyemi, Aisha Yusuf, and Davido, Kano, Two-Face, 45 others, they're being accused of sponsoring the EndSARS protest. What do you think about that? What do you think about the accusation? You can drop in your comments. Let's know what you think. Or you can get the full story on page 8 in Nigerian Tribune. LCCI kicks as PG exempts Dangote BUA gas firm from border closure restrictions. You can get the full story on page 6. SARS damaged my scrotum during 81-day detention, lecturer tells Anambra panel. Wow. Well, you can get the full story on page 8. Rep squeeze Akpabio over 15 billion naira budget for East-West Road. The Christ state of over 300 abandoned projects. You can get the full story on page 5, and that's all on Nigerian Tribune. I'll move next to the Daily Times. Sanwo-Olu presents 1.155 trillion naira budget to stop pensions of ex-governors and deputies. You can get the full story on page 2. Salaries. 428 federal agencies won't be able to pay November's salaries. 428 federal agencies won't be able to pay November salaries. Why? Why is it that? Why is it like that? Why would that be? Well, you can get the story, the full story on page 4. Imagine 428 federal agencies. Wow. They really have to get prepared. How would they be able to cope? Okay, you can get the full story on page 4. Ogoni prison construction, 25 years after Ogoni block construction of prison cemetery by federal government. You can get the full story on page 5. UN COVID support. VP Oshibajo Lords United Nations $250 million COVID support for Nigeria. You can get the full story on page 4. And that's all on the Daily Times. Now I will be moving to leadership. PMB orders resuscitation of abandoned farm estates. Says Nigeria will achieve food security under my watch. FG states commitment to production of quality seeds. Agriculture will address youth restiveness and unemployment, says Lawan. You can get the full story on page 4. PMB hails Maman Daura at 81. Says he's one of Nigeria's wealthiest gentlemen. You can get the full story. You can get the story. Sorry, on the front page of leadership. NAF procures 19 aircraft to combat insecurity. You can get the full story on page 3. Only APC, NEC can extend caretaker committee's tenure, says Bonnie. You can get the full story on the front page of leadership. Sanwo-Olu presents 1.155 trillion naira budget and moves to abolish pension for ex-governors. We have 2.9 billion liters of petrol in stock to avert scarcity. Wow. Says NNPC. says NNPC. Don't relocate and FG tells. Okay, sorry. Don't relocate, FG tells Nigerian traders in Ghana. 7 die of strange disease in Benue. Oh, this news is really disheartening. Death. Well, everyone one day must die, but being struck by disease, it's quite saddening. It's quite saddening. Well, 7 die of strange disease in Benue. 50 celebrities dragged to court over NSAS protest. 50 celebrities dragged to court over NSAS protest. They are being accused of sponsoring the NSAS protest. What do you think about it? You can drop in your comments. You can let's know your view about the issue, the accusation. Why should they be dragged? Why should they be dragged to the courts? Why should they be accused of sponsoring the protesters? Why? Obong of Calabar pledged support for Ayade. Obong of Calabar pledged support for Ayade. Well, that's all for news headlines from major newspapers in Nigeria today. Thank you for staying with us. I am Dayo Lujimore. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media handles. And also, don't forget to join me tomorrow, 8 a.m. as I bring you social media trends and the news and the news headlines from major newspapers in Nigeria. Stay safe. Thank you.